Coming up next on this YouTube exclusive edition of the RCWR show, yours truly, the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders, covers the fallout from tonight's WWE Raw, where we saw the former voice of the voiceless, Mr. CM Punk, walk out on the WWE. Also, John Cena and Ryback had a very intense confrontation after Cena got his head knocked off his shoulders last week by Ryback, and a new champion was crowned. Say what? It's the RCWR Show YouTube exclusive, and folks, it begins right now.
The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, interactive, covering the latest in wrestling and beyond. You're listening to the RCWR Show with Lee Sanders.
Welcome to this YouTube exclusive edition of the RCWR show on April 15th, 2013. Black Avenger Lee Sanders here. Thank you all so much for checking out tonight's episode. Special shout out to our YouTube subscribers for checking out this episode. You know, before we dive right all into it, I want to just extend a heartfelt, sincere prayers and condolences to those that were affected by those Boston bombings that happened earlier today during that Boston Marathon. You definitely have my thoughts and my prayers with you during this difficult time. Just insane, just crazy what all had went down, and hopefully, to utter the words that President Obama has said today, hopefully authorities will be able to find the sick bastards that had did this and charge them to the fullest extent of the law so that they never, ever see daylight again. Hey, you know, on top of everything I just mentioned, you know, it is that tax season time. Today was the last day to pay your taxes. You know, Caesar's gonna be a-coming for your ass if you try to dodge those taxes, and they're coming down harder and harder every single year. It ain't no joke. Pay those taxes, or else you're going to pay for it big time in the long haul. Just ask Wesley Snipes and a list of other celebrities that thought it was cool to dodge a couple of tax payments here and there over the course of a few years. But that's a different story. Alright, so let's talk about tonight's WWE Raw as it was in South Carolina, where, yeah, we gotta throw you guys that home run first. The big shocker of the night, as we were teased with it last week, CM Punk would be addressing his defeat to The Undertaker for the first time now, as we didn't get to see him the night after WrestleMania. Well, this week we got to see the former voice of the voiceless, the man that wanted nothing more than respect, who appeared to be a bit rattled at the fact that he had lost to The Undertaker. But a little bit more than that, as CM Punk, he eventually took a microphone and he spoke to the WWE Universe, and there were mouth chants of CM Punk's name being said on top of Undertaker's. CM Punk told the WWE Universe that when he was the WWE Champion for 444 days, he really did not have a chance to relish in it. He didn't have a chance to truly enjoy his reign, because every time he had to turn around, there was always somebody there just scratching and clawing, trying to get what was his. So he didn't have time to kick back and smell the roses. And just when he thought he overcame every single obstacle, he said to himself, well, what could be that next big hurdle to cement his place in WWE history? And one of those had came in the form of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And although he came up short, CM Punk, he decided to look for a next obstacle to overcome, and that would be in the form of The Undertaker, where, again, he came up short. And at this point, CM Punk is just a little bit speechless. As the WWE Universe, they began chanting his name, they began chanting respect, and then they began chanting for The Undertaker. Undertaker's kind of drowned out the first two there I had mentioned. And eventually, and just shockingly, we saw CM Punk just stop talking, give the microphone to his good friend and manager, Paul Heyman, and walked out of the ring, swapped the cameras from taping him, and he didn't leave up the stage ramp. On the contrary, he actually went off to the side and went around to the back area, something that you usually do not see a wrestler do. And it is just with that little touch right there that just says to me in large volumes that CM Punk has walked out on the WWE. Just think about the headlines that is just going to be created for the next 24 hours throughout the rest of this week going into next Monday night, as they're probably going to try to really milk in on this. They're probably going to have Paul Heyman kick back and say that he hasn't been in contact with his client, his friend CM Punk, since Monday night, as Punk isn't returning his calls. He's not really sure what's going on, but he's going to try to see if he can get some type of an answer. But really, a good jump start to CM Punk walking out on the WWE. And I really couldn't think of a better way to make him exit. Although I was kind of entertaining the idea of the Shields, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, beating him down. That kind of would have made just a little tiny bit of sense, so to speak, as they're looking to make a name for themselves. They're looking to make an impact. Remember, they had the failed assault on Triple H and The Undertaker. Why not go for CM Punk is what I thought. But this was a better touch. It's going to have a lot more people talking. And honestly, this couldn't come at a better time. Of course, it's no secret that CM Punk, he has been really banged up those 444 days plus since he was WWE champion, and even afterwards, as he just continued to deliver some top-notch quality matches leading into WrestleMania. And at Mania, folks, he got banged up severely. As remember, there was that bad spot in that match against Taker where he did that flying elbow drop from the top turnbuckle through the announcer's table where Undertaker laid, and that table did not collapse in time. Matter of fact, it didn't collapse at all as CM Punk went knees first into that table. And luckily, according to MRIs and x-rays, he is not going to be needing any surgery. His knees are just banged up. He's got old man knees right now, and he is in much dire need of some vacation time. I would suspect at this point, WWE, Vince McMahon and crew, they are going to allow CM Punk to take as much needed time off as he wants. If you were to ask me a ETA on when we could possibly see CM Punk come back to the WWE, I would kind of be looking at maybe August. I believe SummerSlam is usually right around there. I would kind of go for that. Or maybe September, CM Punk might return. But trust me, at this rate, Punk just needs to do everything he can to get 100% better, come back refreshed, come back revigorated. And I think when he comes back, I truly believe this, I think he's going to come back as a baby face, and I think they'll be able to just milk that for what it's worth for a good while. But if I'm putting my prediction out there, it's April right now. I'm not looking at a CM Punk return at least until August. If I were to go later than that, I would say maybe September. But basically, I'm looking at about maybe 4 to 6 months almost for Punk to come back and return. You know what? And he deserves it. He earns it, hands down. Hey, YouTube subscribers, let me know what you think. YouTube audience, let me know what you think about CM Punk being on hiatus that long. If you think WWE will be just fine without him, if they'll do okay, or if you think his break doesn't need to be that long, and we'll share you all's comments on this Tuesday night's RCWR show. Depending on the number of comments we have, we'll either do it on that episode or respectfully, we'll do it on our weekend edition of the RCWR show. Other action that we saw tonight on WWE Raw, we saw a new United States champion get crowned as boom, 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 Kofi Kingston, Jamaica McCrazy, had defeated Antonio Cesaro. Now, damn good match, especially the last 2 minutes of this great epic encounter, as there was just beautiful countering that was just going back and forth, and it just ended with trouble in paradise to the head of Cesaro. Kofi goes in for the cover, 1, 2, 3, and he just received a loud pop from the crowd as he was crowned the new United States champion. I know there are probably going to be a lot of fans that are going to be upset over the fact that Cesaro lost the United States title and wonder just what exactly is going on with the WWE booking. WTF, what the fuck? Do they not like Cesaro anymore? Bad enough the man was not on the WrestleMania card. Now you have him lose his United States title. Just what the hell is up? I'll say this in a nutshell, and I just want to just tease you guys, just for now, as we'll definitely go more in depth about it on Tuesday night's RCWR show with myself and co-host Diamond K. It's not as clear-cut as you think it to be, folks. I think what's going to end up happening is WWE, they're going to be setting up Antonio Cesaro for bigger and better things. That's honestly what I believe. I don't think they're doing all these things just to piss off the WWE universe or wrestling fans. I believe they have a very, very interesting plan that's going to be set in motion for him in the coming weeks. But I will tell you this. As long as they get rid of his yodeling, I am happy with that, because that is one thing that upsets me to no end. How do you go from him? Somebody please explain this to me, as I want to hear from you Antonio Cesaro fans. I want to know what you guys have been thinking about the way WWE has been utilizing him as of late. But for me to kick back and see Cesaro go from Ascana and his whole 5 different languages to insulting the Americans over the way they eat, their culture, etc., to howling like a wounded dog, I just think he's better than that. I think that he needs to be pushed just like a Damian Sandow, or maybe up there with a Randy Orton, so to speak. I just haven't been liking the way they've been utilizing him, but I think that with this dropping of the title, WWE, bookers, upper management, they're setting him up for bigger things. Trust me on that. Other action we saw a rematch from SmackDown last Friday as Randy Orton and Sheamus, they teamed up to take on and defeat the Big Show. Remember on SmackDown, Big Show, he walked out on the match as it was a handicap match. He walked out taking a count out. Well, tonight was no exception, as Big Show didn't even try to look for a count out this go round. Orton and Sheamus, they had him right where they wanted him, and they picked up a huge win over the Giant. Now, later on in the night, we would end up seeing Sheamus try to get interviewed by Matt Striker when from out of nowhere, we had saw Mark Henry just spear the hell out of him, saying, "That's what I do," as Sheamus is just left on the ground, just injured, just out of it, as WWE officials tried to come in and break the two up. Now, as a result of what had went down this Friday night on SmackDown, we're going to be seeing Mark Henry team up with Big Show to take on the team of Sheamus and Randy Orton. Should be a damn good tag match right there. But I just love that damn spear that just came out of nowhere from Mark Henry. It was almost like, oh my God, Sheamus is cutting a promo. No, we can't have that spear. That's what I do. That I just wish we could see something like that happen on, like, in real life. Wouldn't that be kind of cool if you had like an annoying boss or coworker or something like that? If Mark Henry could just pop up when you snap your fingers and just spear the hell out of them. I think the world would just be a better place. That's just me. Just food for thought. Other action on tonight's WWE Raw, we saw the tag team champions Kane and Daniel Bryan in action as they had defeated the primetime players Titus O'Neil, Darren Young. They seem to be clicking the past few weeks, Kane and Daniel Bryan, as big main event match was revealed during this bout, folks. Yeah, looks like Kane and Daniel Bryan are going to be teaming up with The Undertaker to take on the team of the Shields, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns in a 6-man tag match. That's right, folks. The Brothers of Destruction are reuniting as they team up with Daniel Bryan to take on the Shield. That's going to be a damn good match. And you know, next week's Raw is going to be coming from the O2 London Arena, where you know it is always Bizarro World out there. Speaking of Bizarro World, how about the way WWE was last week from the Izod Center, especially when Fandango came out and everybody was singing and doing the little finger gestures to his song. Well, 1 week later, apparently there was a lot of buzz that was created as his whole theme music, it was just one of the most talked about things in all of social media, dominated television, you name it, it was everywhere. We even have PETA cutting their own video wanting for people to do Fandango vegan or some crap like that, whatever. And you knew that WWE was going to try to figure out how to brand this and try to have more of the WWE universe get into it. So, of course, since this just came from out of nowhere, they got to put their own little stamp on it. So they're calling it Fandangoing. And with tonight's crowd, they try to have Fandango wheel the crowd into saying his name and Fandangoing, but this was the wrong crowd to be doing it in front of, and I just kind of questioned the timing of it, because at this point Raw was on for about 2+ hours, and I'm saying to myself, okay, are you really gonna go through this? This is, you know, the crowd hasn't really been kind of that into it tonight. You really want to go through the Fandangoing right now? And I just thought they could have did without it. I knew that they were trying to capitalize on this, though. But, man, just the way that Fandango was just so naked tonight. Not literally, but he just felt kind of naked tonight without a Chris Jericho to jump him from behind. And mind you, for those of you that were looking for Chris Jericho, Jericho was actually on the road. He's doing his thing with Fozzy. He will be on next week's Raw, I believe. If not next week, then the week before. And then he won't be back for a regular run until May. So basically, he'll be back in time to possibly take on Fandango at Extreme Rules, is what I'm gathering. But did anybody out there that had watched Raw tonight, did y'all notice the new dancer that was with Fandango? It kind of had me going, what happened to that cute little, you know, petite looking girl with the cute little devilish yet innocent little face? I was kind of feeling her there. But hey, whatever. I guess the spotlight wasn't on her, as we never did get to find out her name. She's just a dancer. So, whatever. But it happens. You know, we were just talking about Extreme Rules. We got to give you guys a heads up, as we saw Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. They did make an appearance. Now, let's set this up for you properly. As the 3-man band, they were pretty upset with the fact that the Shield had jumped them last week on SmackDown. So they had some balls as they called out the Shield. Yes, 3MBs, Heath Slater, Drew McIntyre, Jinder Mahal, they actually called out the Shield. They did not get the Shield, they got the worst thing that could possibly happen, and it was Brock Lesnar who came out and he just mauled the hell out of them. Clothesline, back German suplex. I mean, he was just all over the place. Heath Slater, he tried to run out of the ring, but man, you talk about the speed that Lesnar has, as he just raced out of the ring and clotheslined the hell out of Slater, and then followed it up with not one but 2 devastating F5s that sent Slater on top of the wall barrier. And the fans were just erupting. They wanted him to do it again. And he was thinking about doing it, but I don't think Heath Slater could really take another one. Well, Paul Heyman finally would come out to calm the beast down, as he cut a promo saying that Triple H, you have my respect. You went in there at WrestleMania. You defeated Brock Lesnar. Hell, you actually knocked him out, as you gave him a concussion for several seconds. I commend you for your victory, but now we have a situation on our hands here. See, The thing is, Triple H, is that you now have a victory over Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar now has a victory over you. It's tied one apiece. There can only be one alpha male in the WWE. So the way that I propose this, Triple H, is that you meet my client, Brock Lesnar, at Extreme Rules in a steel cage match. Boys and girls, I definitely want to know what you think about this. I know some of you were very critical, and I know we were definitely critical of the Triple H and Brock Lesnar match, round 2 at WrestleMania. It was pretty weak in the first half. Didn't really start to pick up until the second half of the match, definitely towards the end. Would you be sold to see these two guys get it on, knowing it's going to be in that type of a gimmick match? Share your comments. We'll follow up on it possibly this Tuesday or this weekend. But challenge has been sent. Will Triple H accept is the story. We should be able to find out next week, hopefully. We saw Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger end up being in a bit of an exchange of words, as we had saw a match almost go down between Dolph Ziggler and Alberto Del Rio, as Del Rio wanted to invoke his rematch clause tonight, but he got derailed by Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter, who came out, as Zeb Coulter feels strongly that the only reason why Ziggler is the champion right now is because of the damage that Jack Swagger had did to Del Rio to help set up the easy win for Ziggler. Thus, Zeb Coulter feels Ziggler and damn sure Alberto Del Rio are not deserving of that World Heavyweight title. Well, we saw Jack Swagger, he got in the ring, and him and Del Rio, they just went at it while Ziggler looked on. And from there, afterwards, we actually saw Del Rio get the upper hand, clothesline Swagger out of the ring, tried to focus back on Ziggler, but Big E Langston stood in the way, as it looked like Del Rio and Langston were going to get it on, but Swagger came from behind, or actually outside of the ring, grabbed Del Rio's ankle and just dragged him out and was just vicious in his assault, even applying the Patriot lock that just injured Del Rio's leg even further. Well, we saw in a backstage segment Vicky Guerrero and Brad Maddox try to figure out what they were going to do, as Del Rio was in no shape to compete tonight. We saw SmackDown assisting manager Teddy Long abuse his authority in not going to Booker T, as he made a match between Swagger and Dolph Ziggler, where if Swagger wins, then he will become the new #1 contender to take on Dolph Ziggler for that title. My, how much a difference almost a year makes, folks, as that was pretty much our main event of tonight's Raw. It was Dolph Ziggler taking on Jack Swagger. And folks, Jack Swagger, we the people, had picked up the win to no doubt put himself in the title hunt. Now, afterwards, we saw Dolph Ziggler, we saw Alberto Del Rio attack Jack Swagger from behind, trying to extract a little bit of revenge, as he was able to apply the cross arm breaker before WWE officials came to break up the match. Booker T would have some words with Teddy Long about him stepping over his authority, and I just want to tease you guys with that for now, as myself and Diamond K will try to piece together what we know about this so far and try to figure out what the end result of this is going to be. That's going to be in a special in-depth piece on our Tuesday night show this coming Tuesday at 11 p.m. Eastern. You can catch it over at blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR show. But the one thing that we can tell you was that Booker T, he was not too keen on Swagger becoming the #1 contender, but he went on ahead and he recognized Swagger being the #1 contender, but points out that Alberto Del Rio still has that World Heavyweight title shot match coming to him, and as a result, it is going to be a triple threat match between Alberto Del Rio, Jack Swagger, and Dolph Ziggler for that World Heavyweight title. No doubt that's going to be going down at Extreme Rules. And that, folks, is actually going to be coming up in about 3+ weeks. We're still a little ways away from that. Also in action, we have saw Wade Barrett. 1 week after becoming the new Intercontinental Champion, he lost his match against R-Truth tonight in shocking fashion. I don't know if maybe this was some type of a miscommunication, because it kind of seemed like maybe Wade Barrett had got hurt for real in this match, or if maybe this was actually the way it was supposed to play out. I'm a little shocked, but at the same time, I'm saying to myself, well, Wade Barrett, he does need some new opponents. Who better to lay claim to being capable of defeating him than someone that actually does beat him to want to lay claim that they should be the number one contender to take him on for the title. So I think some of the things that we've been seeing within recent weeks with Wade Barrett and a few other people, I think they are just setting up the rivalry. So look for R-Truth to put the whole spider thing and little Jimmy to the side for a little bit and try to see if he can get himself a title shot against Wade Barrett. Hey, we actually saw a damn good Divas match between Kaitlyn and Nikki Bella, and I must say, and I don't want to go in depth with this, I was very pleased with this match tonight. Now, we did see a little bit of twin magic come into play in this match, as Kaitlyn, she came very close to beating Nikki Bella, but they did the little switcheroo. You know how those little twins like to operate, and it was actually Brie that helped Nikki get the win over Kaitlyn, no doubt setting up a future match for the Divas title. Whether or not that's going to happen at Extreme Rules, who knows. Surprisingly, there was more boring chants in this match than probably anything else that had came throughout the entire night. But you know, I've been noticing, and I gotta give WWE props, they've been trying to give the Divas a little bit more camera time, and it really hasn't been that disappointing. The matches have actually been up to par within recent weeks, and I just love to continue to see this new change of wind happen for some of these Divas matches. They're actually giving us some pretty good content. I hope that WWE, Vinnie Mac and crew, I hope they don't let the boring chants get to them and then they just axe the Divas altogether, because bad enough as it was to not see the Divas title get defended at WrestleMania this year. You know, we had saw Ryback cut one very, very strong promo on his opponent, John Cena. And man, Ryback proved without a shadow of a doubt that he is a man that could cut a damn promo. As I was watching this guy, I couldn't help but go back to being a little kid and thinking about the Ultimate Warrior. I mean, he just reeked of that, the way that he was talking, but he talked like a sane Ultimate Warrior. But I mean, he even kind of had the whole star reference in there, stratosphere. He even threw a couple of those in there, but his vocabulary, I must admit, I was kicking back and I just couldn't help but say, damn. Quite pleased with how far along Ryback has come along. Some of the things that Ryback had brought up, and he hit it dead on the nail with his argument of why he acted the way he did to Cena last week. Ryback will point out that 6 times the Shield has attacked him, and John Cena not once has helped him out. Especially when it counted the most, when Ryback had an opportunity to win the WWE title back in January of this year. Remember, Shield had interfered in that. John Cena nowhere to be found. And Ryback gave John Cena props. He said, you know what? You were probably focused, and I commend you for what you did at WrestleMania as you defeated The Rock. You got your redemption. You became the WWE champion again. Unfortunately, that was not the case for Ryback, who feels that he has just been on a roller coaster of disaster and blames John Cena as the source for everything that's been happening. And Ryback tells John Cena that he remembers how a couple of months back, I believe it was in October, don't quote me on it, folks, but he recalled how John Cena was injured and how he gave up his spot to compete for that WWE title to Ryback, and Ryback pointed out what many people had said, boy, wish John Cena would get injured more often. And Ryback, being a man of very short words, but cut one very detailed promo tonight, saying that if Cena is Superman, then he is the Kryptonite, as he is the biggest threat that Cena has ever faced in his entire career. Well, John Cena would later on in the night call out Ryback. And in a nutshell, John Cena told Ryback that the only person that he has to blame for some of the stuff that has been going down is himself. Not really manning up to the responsibility. Cena not really manning up to, yeah, you know what, I really should have been there. He kind of diverted that a little bit, as Cena's whole mentality was, okay, you attacked me from behind last week. You held on to the WWE title for a few moments there. Bet it felt pretty good. Well, tell you what, let's see you earn a right to fight for this championship. And Cena was ready to throw down right there, but Ryback walked away. He looked like he was ready to just clothesline the head off of John Cena, but he did not do it as he walked out. And as Ryback went up to the stage ramp, we hear the music of the Shield, as finally, took us almost 3 hours to finally see him, but you knew they had to pop up somewhere. We saw the Shield's Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. They all surrounded the ring, looking on at Ryback, wondering if he was going to interfere in this match, or not match, but interfere in this potential beatdown that John Cena was going to be taking. And they just said, the hell with it. Let's get in there. Let's do the damn thing. And they actually jumped on John Cena, delivering their trademark triple powerbomb as Ryback just looked on. And that had pretty much closed out tonight's WWE Raw. Overall, I love the continued development with Ryback, no doubt in my mind. From the first moment that I saw this guy, I kicked back and I said, you know, in due time, he will be a WWE champion. I went out there and said in a couple of years, but his progress, I've just been really pleased. I know there's probably going to be a lot of guys that aren't going to really be feeling Ryback, and because he can't wrestle, and you know, all that stuff that comes in good time under the right trainers and all that. But the guy, he's got a great mouthpiece. And for those of you that did not see the promo that he had cut tonight, I highly encourage you to go check out WWE Fan Nation on YouTube. I know they be uploading clips of Raw all throughout the night going into the day. Try to see if you can get the clip for Ryback cutting that promo. I think you guys will be quite pleased in what's going on with him. And it's almost to a point right now, and we'll go more in depth about this on Tuesday's show. Question I want you guys to be thinking about, and you're more than welcome to answer it right here and now, which is Ryback the replacement for John Cena? I mean, based on what we saw tonight, based on what we've been seeing lately, based on the word that we've been hearing from WWE, they love them some Ryback. So, with that in mind, you know, the question has to be asked. Yes, John Cena, 11-time WWE champion, who continues to get the boring chance despite being the WWE champion. And notice how cleverly he tried to divert the boring chance to Ryback, citing how Ryback had cut a promo via Titantron that was boring. No, I thought it was a damn good promo, but I definitely want to pick you all's brains on this. Do you think that the title could change hands at Extreme Rules under John Cena's first title defense? I mean, you know how the WWE bookers and Vince McMahon and them are. If they got a good thing going on, they go with the flow usually. So I don't know, the flow that is happening with Ryback. Guys, we could be seeing a new champion in a couple of weeks. That's just the vibe I'm getting. But I'm loving the fact that Extreme Rules is starting to take shape, as it looks like we're going to see John Cena, Ryback for the WWE title. We got the triple threat match there for the World Heavyweight title, and Dolph Ziggler, Alberto Del Rio, and Jack Swagger. Looks like those tag titles is definitely going to be on the line. I would think, against the Shield members. So it should be interesting to see how Raw plays out next week from the O2 London Arena. But, overall tonight, I would have to give Raw a very respectable, I would say, I definitely give it a pass tonight. I would think a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably give it maybe a 6 out of 10. It was fairly good. And before anybody asks, oh, Lee, you forgot a match. You forgot about the Damian Sandow, Cody Rhodes taking on Great Khali and Santino. I'm sorry, that wasn't a match. That was boring. I couldn't wait for that to end. That looked like a damn handicap match between Cody Rhodes, Damian Sandow as they took on Santino. I'm not even... Look, Team Rhodes Scholars, they picked up the victory. That's all you need to know. That was really a boring match, and I love Damian Sandow and Cody Rhodes, but that was just a damn boring match. I could care less about that. Alright, folks, so that's going to do it. I want you guys to make sure that you join us for a very special episode of the RCWR show coming up this Tuesday night at 11 p.m. Eastern. We're going to give you guys the latest 411 on what all had went down at that Boston Marathon. We'll definitely share with you our thoughts on it in more detail, myself and co-host Diamond K. For you guys that had watched Alanya Fix My Life featuring DMX over the weekend on the Oprah Winfrey Network, we'll also go a little bit more in depth about that, talk about the troubled times and life of one DMX, and we'll also go more in depth about key points from tonight's WWE Raw. Of course, one of those being is Ryback, the new John Cena, and also what is next for Antonio Cesaro. And we'll also take a look at this latest, I guess you could call it a battle of management or superiority between Booker T and Teddy Long. We'll try to make sense of all of it, and we'll also cover the very latest in wrestling headlines, and we'll also go great in depth about Carlito, former WWE wrestler who took a shot at The Rock, citing that The Rock is taking some type of illegal substance to get bulked up. Does Carlito have, any weight to what he's saying? Is there any truth to what Carlito is saying? Is The Rock on some type of steroid drug? And if so, could there be any ramifications? This is going to be a damn good show this Tuesday night, so make sure you catch that at 11 p.m. Eastern. By the way, in case you guys don't know, new RCWR show t-shirts are now available at our website at infinityOneProductions.com. If you love what we do over here and you want to represent, you want to spread the good word about our show, that's your opportunity. Pick up a t-shirt. Only costs $20. And guess what? Shipping is free. That's right. Shipping is on us. And it will always be on us. So pick up a shirt. All sizes available. We got you covered right on up until 2XL. If you need something a little bigger than that, feel free to just shoot us an email or shoot us a tweet. Let us know. We'll be more than happy to hook you up. Same price, though, for all sizes. So check it out. You can buy them at you can buy them at infinityOneProductions.com. That's going to do it, boys and girls, till we hear from you for our Tuesday Night Wrestling Report edition of the RCWR show. This is the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders. Be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes that you might have missed on here on YouTube, as the audio is enhanced greatly for your listening pleasure. You can also download episodes in the Stitcher and iTunes marketplaces. Just use the keywords, the RCWR show. Follow us at Infinity One Prod, and also follow us at Infinity One Prod on Twitter, at Infinity One Prod, and at the RCWR show. Again, 2 Twitter handles there. And you can also follow us on Facebook at Infinity One Productions. Like our page and all that good stuff. That's going to do it, boys and girls. Be safe. Be kind to one another. Take care, everybody.